Hey everyone, it's Ryan 1940 here, and today we're in Stormworks. I wanted to show you a ship I've been working on for quite a while now. I think maybe 4, 5, 6 months, I don't know. Been on and off, and recently I've been on a long business trip, so I was able to put a lot more time into it in my evenings when I've had some free time available. And this is FFG 59. If you guys follow some of my stuff for Stormworks, I've made a ship called FFG 46. That's more a traditional looking, older sort of frigate style. This is a frigate that is going to have obviously the looks of kind of like an Arleigh Burke destroyer, kind of taking a lot of inspiration from the exterior model from that. Now let's hop on board and take a look at all the systems I've been working on. Now oops, there we go. Let's take a look at the pilot house here. Just actually on the bridge wings we can control the machine guns. There's 7.62 guns on each bridge wing. You got the ammo here, some extra ammo in these lockers over here. Kind of mimicking the ready service lockers, the RSLs that you have on warships. All throughout the ship you'll see these electrical isolation switches, so we can basically kill the electricity for a certain area. If we click on that, let's go down to the main main electrical source of the ship, and this is an easy way to cut stuff out. Alright, welcome to the bridge. We've got some body armor stuff here for the bridge wing guys when they got to get on the guns, some first aid kits, binoculars, night vision goggles, compass, all that kind of stuff. Over here is a rifle locker, so we've got a rifle for the bosun's mate of the watch if he needs to shoot at individual things and doesn't want to use a machine gun. Let's turn the ship on here. We got port and starboard engine. They're 5x5 engines, so they're pretty big. We use Sharp's ECU, kind of tune everything. And you heard that foghorn. That is made by a guy named, I think Roadhammer was his name. I hope that's right. This is system over there. I'll show you in a second. Let's get the ship underway a little bit. Pretty big ship here. This is as big as it can get on the standard workbench, so you don't have to mod the game or anything like that, or spawn it in a different way. You can just spawn it from the workbench. It's got some weight to it, so it doesn't turn on a dime like a small boat would. So we'll get her out to open sea here, and then we can talk about stuff. Alright, we can activate the radar. This is made by a guy named Seaweed. Seaweed makes he makes this radar display, and then he makes this cool autopilot map thing. We can actually have the ship kind of drive for us. And go pull out that way. We can drop another mark. Drop another mark, and then we can just hit that, and the autopilot's active. You can drive the system from here, and you can also do it in combat. I've got a way to do that, so that way you can stay in combat if you want, when you want to do battling things and stare at your combat displays. It's got a reverser, so we can back around. The fuel's all linked into all the different tanks that we've got. There's 8 fuel tanks on the ship, and there's 8 ballast tanks. So back to the fog detection system. When this is by default on, and when there are foggy conditions, you'll see this light activate. When that happens, the foghorn is going to go off every 2 minutes approximately. Okay, that's what they do in real life to avoid collisions. And instead of having a person have to manually do it, our system can do it automatically. So it's a really cool system made by Roadhammer, I think was his name. Yeah, pretty cool system. Yeah, we got some Arctic gear and some other equipment back here. And from the pilot house, you can also control the various bridge lights. That's just the red light here. We've got the deck lights on the outside, navigation lights, and the interior lights are not all done yet. I'm just kind of still building out the ship to see where they're going to go. And we got the deep mag, VLS deluge system, and the sprinkler system for the VLS. I'll show you more about that, but this is where the bridge can control those systems. You can also control those locally at the deep mag and the VLS. We can change the time here. Let's just make it dark. Take a look around. That's what the exterior lighting looks like. It's kind of subdued. Normally you're not gonna have these lights on a warship when you're out at sea like that. Yeah, if you're just transiting in peacetime, you'll have your nav lights on, but you really don't even have those deck lights on. That's more for like when you're in port. But we've got them anyways. I've tried to keep it kind of realistic with the limitations of where the lights have to be seen from, what angles. Trying to keep that with the international standards. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way, we can turn this stuff off. I'll leave it now. Okay, and let's just switch that back to daytime. We have to put it to daytime just because, like I said, I didn't do the internal lighting completely done yet, so it's just going to be too dark. That's the bridge. We can go take a look around topside really quickly. So around the ship topside you'll see these hose stations, so you can actually equip that, attach it, and open the valve there, and you can actually spray water. So this is getting seawater for the fire main water from our fire main system, and you can use that to fight the fires all around the ship topside, and eventually I'm going to put them internally in the main P-ways and stuff. They won't be in actual spaces, they'll be outside of the spaces, kind of realistic that way. Most of the spaces internally will just have fire extinguishers. So you can see all these hose reels everywhere, they all work. There's a couple fire main loops that go throughout the ship. Over here you see these SR box. They are the super rapid blooming off-board chaff, and these are tied to sort of like an RWR system. It will detect if radar's painting the ship. If that system is in automatic mode, it will start firing off chaff. We can also pickle this stuff off manually. So we've got a couple 6-packs on each side to use. I got some more machine gun mounts up back up here. If we go further down, this is the sling arm davit, which is going to control putting the rib there in the water. It's made by a guy named Soup. I can't remember who made this davit. I'll have to see if I could. Whenever I'm posting this ship to the workshop, I'll make sure I list everybody's links and stuff to their individual kits. This is what I like about Stormworks, is you can. I'm not good at like Lewis scripting and all this other stuff, so it's really cool that people put things up there on the workshop so that you can put it onto your boat. So it's really cool. This is a missile launcher made by a guy named Bruce. Really basic missile system, but it gets the job done. And I really like the magazine and the elaborate reloading feature that this missile has. I'll show you that in a little bit. This is the 50 cals. I think we have 50 cals also. There's 2 on the bow, so we'll get to see that. This is the VLS deck. There's 18 of these guys. This is the ADS-3 system, so it's automatic. It'll go towards surface and air targets. And it's the flight deck. So on the flight deck, pretty basic. In here we've got a little shack that is kind of like the helo control shack, and it's got some indicators in there, and this indicator as well tells you when the system is on. This is my form factor that I use for my helicopter there, the SH-159. And you can use that on the other frigate and this one, so they will grab the correct spot on the helicopter when the system is on, and you will not roll off the deck. It's really good. Okay, and there's also another one of Seaweed's displays. There was one up in the bridge, the weather display, so you can see what the winds are doing. And we've got a radio there, just like radios in the bridge. I think that was made by a guy named White Noise and Captain Kilo. So this is like a touch screen. You can control the channels and stuff, so this way you can contact the helicopter, and also in the bridge, and I think combat and maybe the captain's cabin all has another radio. So all the antennas and stuff you see on the mast, they actually go to things. Even the aft stack there, all the antennas are not decorative, they actually do things, so they work for either the TACAN system or the various VHF radios. So yeah. This is the main deck. And let's pop inside the skin of the ship there. Actually, let's go take a look at the forecastle. So I got the windbreak here. Kind of realistic how they are with Arleigh Burke's. Another 50 cal. Down here is the space that's got access to the magazines for those. This is the 5-inch gun, goes all the way down. We can do that. We can go take, actually, yeah, we'll head down to the bottom and then we'll work our way up the ship. So in this space, let's go further down actually. Okay, yeah. Let's close that. This is the bilge, or not the bilge, this is actually the bilge over here. This is kind of just access to it. It's a trunk. Down below us is the sonar dome. It's kind of just a small sonar dome. I still need to build out the sonar stuff in combat, but we'll get to that. This one's actually kind of tricky to get into. Anyways. Ah, it's too bad. Yeah, I don't know if we can get in this way, but from the other hatches you can get down into the forward bilge. There's midships bilge and aft bilge, and there's actually water on the deck there, and we can control that in a ballast control room. I'll show you that in a bit. This is some fire main tanks. So everything in my ship is color coded with stuff. So red is always fire main, fire related systems. This is another tank. So this is for the deluge. These are the pumps that will pump water into the deep magazine, which is the 5-inch gun mag. So you see the gun turret way up there, and this is the magazine. This holds 38 rounds, so once that's expended you can just manually come down here and reload this belt and you'll be able to keep fighting. These are the ports for the deluge, so this place will actually like flood up, and the thought is to fill this with water so you don't have a magazine cook off. And then we've got some drains and stuff to get the water out of here. Over here is our gray water tank. So actually this is the color of the gray water system. So that's going to be all the water that comes from the showers and the sinks. We can pump that out overboard. And this is the tank that it's held at. On the other side, we've got the black water tank. So this is all the water, or liquid I should say, that comes from the sewage system. So it's going to come from the toilets. And then I'll go into this tank. When it gets full, you're going to have to discharge it overboard. When we are, actually, I didn't mention this about the D-bag. We've got the deluge system here. You can pick that off and locally, or you can do it up in the bridge like I had shown earlier. Okay, this is a good way to get into the bilge. You can crouch down here. So yeah, you can see water down there. This is kind of just how we control the flooding. I haven't built it out fully yet, but what's going to happen is we're going to have deck drains, so that way when we fight fires inside the ship, we have a way to get the water down below into the bilge, and we can pump the water overboard. So that'll be a way to control the amount of firefighting water that's accumulating. Over here's a water plant. So on my ships, I like to build kind of realistic systems somewhat. So this is a seawater intake tank. So, like I said, with the color coding, green for me is always going to be like salt water. So ballast tanks will also be green because they're going to use salt water. This is intake from the ocean, goes into this tank, and then goes to these desalinators. If you have the system on and you have the suction pump to take the water through the desalinators, and then it'll go up into this freshwater tank. So all the water that's made from the salt water will go here. Fresh water, and then we have another tank here, which is our hot water tank. So we can actually set the temperature of the water, say like we want it to be 110 degrees Fahrenheit, and if we turn on the heater, you'll see this is the furnace temperature inside the hot water tank. It's going to go up pretty high, and you'll see the actual tank water temperature start to increase to 120 or 110, and then once it gets there, it's going to kind of throttle itself. So that's how we make hot water. I haven't done it yet, but eventually all the hot water outlets are going to be all the showers, and the freshwater tanks are what go to the toilets for flushing and also to the sinks. Okay, so we have all the various pump controls to fill and discharge, and this is the water control space. All the spaces also, well, most of them I think, when I'm done with them, we'll have space heater and overhead lighting in them. Okay, we can just go back aft now. This is the battery compartment. I haven't built this out yet, but basically all the electrical isolation boxes or breakers all connect to this breaker right here. This is all the power from the batteries going here. We have a generator so we can recharge these batteries, but they output to this guy and they go to all the different individual breakers throughout the ship that go to the spaces. Ultimately, I want to make like some sort of electrical switchboard, emergency generator, and emergency power switchboard. I don't know if we can fit it in there. Maybe we could. I have no clue yet. This is a repair locker, so all the doors that are red are going to be repair lockers. So you're going to have your firefighting stuff and all the various repair kits and that kind of stuff. They'll be throughout the ship. This is a bilge access, so the midships bilge. That's a ladder well. This is the generator room, so this is going to be the port generator. I'll try and make a starboard one so we have a backup. Yeah, it's pretty simple. It's going to pull fuel from I think specifically one of the fuel tanks below us. I don't remember which one that was, and then it will generate electricity, and that goes to the batteries, so that will charge the battery that way. Yeah, I would like to have a starboard side one somewhere else, so we've got a couple, and then I want an emergency generator as well. Okay, so this is the lower level of the engine room. This is a 2-level space. We've got big 5x5 engine. Put a lot of heat exchangers on here that go out to the ocean, water, but it's not perfect. You can still get the ship going pretty fast, and it takes a while for it to heat up. Then Sharp's ECU, thankfully, will throttle itself, so once you get too hot, it will just kind of keep you from going any further. Directly aft of this space is the VLS magazine. So these are some deluge pumps. They would, if you activated the system, they would pump salt water or fire main water into the space to flood it, and that's that. You can go under it, underneath the magazine through the bilge here, and pop up the other way, or we can just go up one level. And if we get out of the engine compartment here, it's kind of dark. I'm sorry for that. We need to get some lighting in here. This lighting will go off when the sprinkler system's active. So this is the actual VLS space, and we've got a passageway that goes through it. So you can see how big these missiles are. They're pretty massive. And overhead, once again, the red pipes mean it's got fire main water in it, and these are the sprinkler systems. So if I go ahead and turn this on, you see that flashing light to indicate to the watchstanders and stuff that that system's active. And I don't know if you could see it, but eventually you would see fresh or salt water. Yep, it's starting to splash around. That would sprinkle down. Okay, we can turn that off. So that was the VLS passageway. Goes through the space, but we can also go around. Now we're directly underneath the flight deck. So this is a flight deck up here. This is the fuel tanks for the flight deck, so we can hold JP5 and diesel fuel depending on what the helicopters need. And we can charge the helicopter from the port up there. Ooh, it's going to be raining outside. So yeah, these are the different ports for jet fuel, the electrical charge, and diesel fuel. I'll plug that stuff in right there. Alright. And this is the little helo shack. Got the radio there. Look at that, we can see it's fully raining. I love this weather system, it's really cool. It gives us a lot of ambient weather information. And this is our view when we're watching helicopters come land. We do have a TACAN system that's run in combat, so we can head up to combat and see what that's about. This is a ladder well that goes down to the lower level. This is just basically aft steering. Not much going on in here. Actually, no, this isn't aft steering. This is just one of the aft compartments. This is another fuel or fire main tank system on each side here, and that pumps the fire main water throughout the ship. So behind us again is a bulkhead for the VLS, so we can't get into the space. We have to go down and around. If you went down this bilge and crossed over, you'd pop up in the lower level of the engine room. This is the aft steering gear compartment. Not much going on, but this is where the prop shaft is. Not very realistic. You can see it bending around every which way, and it comes out there, and that's where the prop goes. So this is the another entrance to the aft bilge. Okay. Alright, so we can go up one level now. Alright, I think we need to modify the I guess so it's not dark. We can actually see something. There we go, that's better. Okay, so we've been around here. I think this is the, yep, the upper level of the engine room. Alright, so if we go forward, this is the officer's berthing. We have a CO stateroom up top on the by the bridge, the same level as the bridge. Down here is where this small amount of officers sleep. Most of the rooms will have the space heater and the overhead lighting thing, like I said earlier, and every bed will have an oxygen mask and first aid kit around it. And the oxygen mask is kind of simulating an EEBD, which is an emergency escape breathing device. In berthings, when wherever you're sleeping, or even in your normal workspaces, you'll have EEBDs for the amount of people that should be there. And basically, if there's fire and there's a lot of smoke, you can then use your EEBD to get out of space basically safely and evacuate. This is the crew's berthing. But before we go there, let's go over here. This is kind of looking back aft. Now these displays are pretty cool. Who made these? Let me look. Yeah, I think these ones are made by Pufferfish, and this one is a guy named Bannercheck. I like these because they kind of show you the water levels pretty easily, and then the fuel tank stuff here. I'm actually confused because it. Normally what happens is this will calculate, it's saying infinite right now, but it'll calculate how much fuel burn is happening and calculate the rate of that and tells you how much time you have left basically. That's interesting it's not doing that. Yeah, we have all the controls for the ballast tanks, so you can see here on the port side we're a little heavier, so we don't have all those ballast tanks with water. And if you look on the ship, we can go on the exterior view. It's because we have the small boat here in the crane. They add a lot of weight to the left side of the ship, or the port side of the ship. So that's why that's that way. The way the fuel systems work is and even the ballast tank systems, it's port even, starboard odd for the numbering. So 2, 4, 6, 8 is going to be the port side tanks, and then the lowest number is the most forward tank. So diesel tank number 2 is on the port side, and it's the forward most fuel tank for the ship. So same thing with the port ballast system. So tank number 2 is going to be the forward most ballast tank. And if you're unsure, I've basically painted on the inside of all the tanks. If you clip into them and kind of look around, at some point you'll see this, you'll see numbers painted on the tanks there on the side, so you can kind of figure out your way when you're looking at the ship in the workbench area. And yeah, so if you look at these arrows, they can cross over. So these arrows, up and down arrows, mean you're going to fill tank 1 or 2 from the tank across from it, and then these control the adjacent pumps. So we can take fuel from 1, put it to 3, or 3, move it to 1, and 3 can take fuel from 1, or it can put fuel to 1, or put fuel to 5, or take fuel from 5. So that's where you'd control it with these guys here. So it looks like a lot, but it's kind of really simple, basic. And then we've got the bilge pumps, so we can suction and discharge them to the sea. So we've got water down there. So if we were looking in the bilge, you would see a little bit of water on the lower levels of it, which I think is pretty cool. And yeah, that's about it. So all the spaces will normally have some sort of fire extinguisher if we can fit it in there. But like I said before, eventually we're going to have all the fire hoses out in the main P-ways. That's how they would normally be. Okay, so going forward, we've got the officer chief's head. So the officer's berthing is here. So this is the restroom for them. They will have a working shower, and they will also have a working sink. So we can see that is pumping water, and then that will go down to the gray water tanks through that. So that all works. Same thing with the toilet, that should work. You should be able to flush it and water will come out of that. And then it will go down there, go down to the black water tank. So all that piping and stuff is working. That's pretty cool. So this is their little tiny head they've got. And so the chief's berthing is in front of that. And like I said, they all have their oxygen masks and first aid kits. So it's a 6-man berthing here. Some laundry and bedding area. So the crew's berthing, you can access from around the corner here or from back aft by the ballast room and that P-way. This has a larger head, so we've got 2 showers because there's going to be more people in here. The showers aren't built yet just because I've just hooked up that hot water system before I came home. So now I'm going to have to do the pipe work and all that stuff to put the showers in here. These sinks I think should work. Yeah. I had to put reducer valves on them because they were, I think by default they're blasting like a crazy amount of liters per second. So yeah, the sinks work. You got also the 2 toilets that will work, and all the piping and stuff goes to the appropriate tanks. Okay. And then we've got, going back aft, you can see how big it is. Okay. And then some laundry bins there. This will go up to another level, so we can do that. This is the main deck. This is where you'd have the galley, and this is the mess deck, so this is where the people eat. Really simple, small area. Medical bay. You got 4 beds in there. The armory, so you obviously got all your weapons and stuff. And then we've got the galley. So the galley's got the mess line, so you can get your food. And I think the sink here works as well. Should. Yeah. Yep, that's working. Okay. Yeah, that works. The heater here is in the stove. Really basic. I want to put some sort of cold store underneath or around the galley on the deck below if I can figure out a spot for it, and actually chill the room with one of those cryocooler things to make it cold storage, and also have a dry food storage. This is a ladder well that goes up and down throughout the ship. We can head aft. This is another repair locker. This goes out to the skin of the ship, or the weather deck's there. That's where the boat's at. So this is the autocannon magazine, and this is here because above us is where the 50 cals are by the stack. Yep, 50 cal in the aft stack. So going here, if we keep walking aft, this is the VLS bulkhead, so this is where you can turn on the deluge and sprinkler system, and you can use this hatch to kind of pop your head in there and see what the heck's going on. This is the aft missile magazine, so the guy Bruce that makes this missile launcher, he makes these really elaborate reloading systems, and I love this. Eventually I got to put like some sort of sprinkler system in there too as well. These are pumps that take the firefighting water, and I think these ones go to the deluge system to flood that magazine. Alright, so I think that's about it for this level. We can go up one more level. This is a very long tour, I'm sorry. There's a lot to show. Alright, so this is the space right below the bridge level. So this is a CO's stateroom. It's got his bed. Got like I think fishing rod and stuff down here as well for the CO. There used to be... I used to have... I think it's called Sawyer TV was the add-on. It was just unfortunately too large, and it was making the save file not work anymore, so I had to remove that. But it would have been cool. There would have been a TV in here for the CO to just watch and chill. There was also one in the crew's mess decks. These toilets and sinks and showers I don't think work yet. They're not plumbed up. Maybe this works. I don't think so. I don't think I did any of that. Well, it looks like that's working. I don't know where that water's coming from because that is closed. So this is the CO's own stateroom and his bathroom, and there's also a bathroom here for the CIC guys in combat. I need to fix this. This should be working. This toilet just doesn't work yet. It's not plumbed up right. This goes into the mast. So this is the base of the mast, and it's got pumps that actually, yeah, this is not the mast. Sorry, this is mislabeled. This is the stack. So this is the exhaust stack is up there, and these are the intake louvers, which are on the other side of this, that take in the fresh air and pump it down into the to provide to the engine. Okay. And up on this level we have a repair locker as well. It's pretty much a repair locker, I think, on almost every level. There should be. So same thing, it's got all the repair stuff and firefighting kit and all that. Alright, we're almost done with the tour here. We go to cabin, go to CIC. We have the Foxcom jammer, so it jams radio signals from incoming weapon systems. We've got, I think McLaren 2009 is his name. He makes this TACAN system that I really like putting in my ships, and I use that on the helicopters that I use, the SH-159. So with it you can assign a TACAN frequency, and if I was on the helicopter and I set my receive to be number 4, that means I've set the ship to transmit 4. So if I set it to receive 4 on the helicopter, it's going to tell me what direction I need to go to get to the ship, and tell me the range and that kind of stuff. So that's really helpful to fly back to the ship if you're operating with a helicopter. This here is the gun system. I think it was Daimyo Cloud that made this gun system, but I really like this. I'll show you really quickly why I like it so much. So I think if we hold down the firing button there, it's going to reload around. Okay, now it's ready. You see the red box. Now if I fire and I look topside, I love that. I love the shell ejection. It reminds me so much about the Mark 45 gun system on the Arleigh Burke I was on, because it would just chuck those rounds out on deck. I love it. It's so cool. If you ever look at videos of that gun system in real life, you'll notice you'll notice around the gun they'll put like little black rubber mats, and that's them the crew trying to offset the damage that those shell casings do, because they come flying out, I think, with HP air behind them, and those shells, when they hit the deck, they rip up the non-skid pretty easily. So to save that from happening, they'll throw down like black rubber mats. Now, little side story there for you. This is the missile launcher control for the missile system that Bruce made, and I'll show you. We'll fire off a few missiles. Let's fire off all of those, and then we'll see the reload happen. There you go. Just so cool. It kind of looks like there's bars and stuff going across there like that, but that's just kind of how the hatches have to look, I guess. But yeah, it's really fun. They're really basic missiles. They're radar guided, so they'll go after any helicopter or ship you're pointing at. These displays, both of these, there's another weather display and radar display we have in the bridge, made by a guy named Seaweed. I think I mentioned that. And this here, I don't know how to say the guy's name because his name is in Japanese. But this is the ADS-3, and this is the VLS system that we've got the 18 cells for. So if you were to activate it, it will automatically kill anything within the red ring, and it'll start tracking something or things outside in this area with the white ring. Over here is our RWR system, so it's in auto mode right now. When it's in auto mode, it's going to fire off the chaff sequentially and intermittently whenever we're detected by radar. But we can also manually launch the chaff by pressing the button here. So you see it, we can fire off quite a few. You see it kind of exploding there in the sky. And then down here is where sonar control is going to be. So it'll be kind of like Arleigh Burkes don't have sonar control in with combat. They're down up forward. But this will kind of not be like an Arleigh Burke, even though the outside kind of looks like one. It's more like cruisers, and the OHP frigates had the sonar control up by combat. So I'm going to put a bulkhead here, and this will be sonar stuff. I'm pretty excited about that. Oh, and this is another one of the maps and stuff. You notice we can't touch it, and it's not going to respond. But if we turn this on, now we can actually do it. And we can change and add waypoints and stuff from combat. We don't have to go up to the bridge or anything like that. And, oops, what's going on here? There we go. Now once we turn that off, if we go back up to the bridge, you'll see that this waypoint was added and we can control it from the bridge. So just make sure you turn this on and off if you want to use it down here. And I think that's it for combat. So this hatch, people were complaining when I made my first ship, rightfully so, that I had the combat stuff was kind of back here in this area. And it was in the bridge, and for frigates it's not going to be like that. I think the LCS, at least the Independence class, I think their combat is like right behind where the bridge team sits. There's like a curtain or something. I think that's how it was. And anyways, we don't do that. So to facilitate going down to combat really quickly, we've got this hatch. So it's kind of like an escape trunk. On warships, all the spaces that are normally manned, you're usually going to find escape trunks, and so there's multiple ways in and out of a space in case of fire and flooding and all that kind of stuff. So we've got the interior lights, or the nav lights are on right now. The interior lights, they're not fully done, so I'm going to work on that soon. Bridge lights, just going to be the red light here, and then the deck lights. We can see that outside. Let's go to change the time. Oh yeah, not too bad. Let's go faster here. So that's the speed readout, heading readouts. We got some of those radios to chat with people. This ship I think can go up to 40 or 50 knots max speed. Yeah, not realistic, but I'm going to add a lot more stuff to the ship, so probably the weight is going to bring that down quite a bit. What I really like about this is the, currently I do like even how much weight is in it right now, because it doesn't really get tossed around a lot by the waves, so it's really fun to kind of drive around in storms and stuff. You can really see it smashing against the water and punching through the water instead of just being tossed about like a little toy boat. Yeah, so I am definitely going to put a lot more systems on the inside and furnish it out some more, because I do want to have, I don't know, I think for the engineering side I want to add a cold store, so we definitely need some refrigerant rooms, and I do want to add some air conditioning, so we're going to have ventilation and stuff going through all the spaces and pumping cold air in, but also we're going to need a way to equalize the pressure. If you look around topside, you see all these little posts and stuff, like these two. You see some here. These are topside vents that go down to the various tanks, so they'll go down to the fuel tank or the bilges and stuff like that. Yeah, so I think that is about the rest of the stuff to show you for the tour. Hope you like it. I'm going to do my best to get this done kind of soon and get it on the workshop, but we'll see how much time I get to play games and stuff. I've been quite busy. And I hope you enjoyed that little ship tour. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and I'll get to them as soon as I can, and catch you on the next one. Bye!